Hello, welcome to another episode of Jim's Allotment Garden. Okay, so I'm just going to put the ochre in. Now this ground's been prepared. This is obviously where we normally put the carrots, if you can, up the side of the greenhouse. And what I've done is I've dug into there 4 70-litre bags of rotted down wood chip, which is really fine stuff. So all that's gone in there. I don't know if you can see any of it anyway. But that was like really finely. It's been rotting down for a couple of years now. So that's gone in there. I've also put about 2 barrows full of chicken manure that's been sat here for a couple of months. So that's all been dug in, and all of the tubs that the tomatoes were in last year, obviously that was fresh compost. All that's gone in there, and I've sort of dug it all in and sort of churned it all up. So this is where the ochre is going to be planted. So I'll put that in now. Okay, so here are the ochre plants. I've just brought them around from the other greenhouse, and they're as you can see, they're more than ready to go in. They're a little bit droopy at the minute, but obviously I'll give them a good watering when they go in. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to put one here and one here, so they're going to be around probably around 2 foot apart each plant. The reason I'm doing that is obviously Tina and Jason, who gave me these, were growing them in tyres last year. So I'm kind of gauging it from that. The literature that I've read says to put them about 1 metre apart, but I'm a bit limited on room, and I've got some other ochre plants in here as well that are coming on. Obviously nowhere near as big as these. I'll just quickly show you. These ones are just sort of coming up there. There you go. Those are the small ones. So I'm hoping to put a few of those in there as well a bit later on, but I want to get these in as soon as. So all I'm going to do is put one plant about here, and then another one about here. So they're about kind of 2 foot apart or so, and then I'll sort of put them down. There's 7 of these plants in total, so what I'll do is I'll probably get to about here, then I'll have room for another couple of these smaller ones at the end there, and then that should be completely full of ochre, and then the others I'm going to find some other place down at the bottom to put those, so I'll just put those in now. So as I say, with any vegetable, you know, it's always ground preparation that gives you the the ability to grow stuff. And obviously in here, as I've explained, you know, there's loads of chicken muck, there's loads of wood chip that's been rotting down for a couple of years. So there's loads of good stuff gone in. I'm going to be planting these ochre plants in just below the ground. They are a bit kind of top heavy, to be honest with you. I'm hoping with a bit of water that'll remedy. So that's the first one in there. The second one's going to go just off camera here to the left. So they're going to end up being around kind of 2 foot apart. So as I say, I've dug loads of stuff in here. You know, if anything, I've overdone it, to be honest with you. But really, with things like anything that's going to improve the soil, water retention and stuff like that, you know, any sort of wood chip that's been rotted down or anything like that, you know, it's always going to improve. And obviously these plants are obviously water loving, so anything that'll keep the water around them for that bit longer is going to you know, they'll benefit from that. So I'll plant the rest of them in now, and then as soon as I've done that, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so there you go, they're all planted in now. As I say, they're about kind of 2 foot apart that way and 2 foot apart that way, so hopefully they should have enough room in there to sort of grow, and obviously they can sort of go over the sides, because I know the tops get quite big. I've put plenty of slug pallets around, because there have been a few slugs about. I don't know if everybody else is finding it, but we're having loads and loads of slugs, so just in case they are prone to slug damage, what I've done is I've put plenty around, give them good watering in, and I've got enough space here to put another maybe 2 or 3 plants in there, so when those others have got a bit bigger I can just bob them in there. But I'm not quite sure if I've got them slightly too close together, but with the room that I've got available, I think that they should be pretty happy in there. Plus there's loads of good stuff got in there, organic material and fertilisers and stuff like that, which should really help them to develop. And I've dug it down. I didn't explain before, but I've dug it down. Obviously that's the level now. I've dug it to below this path, so I've fetched it all up, so it's all nice and loose, and that should encourage them to grow down and develop loads of tasty tubers for later in the year. So that's what the ocker looks like now it's finished. Okay, so a quick tip is for your runner beans, to make them grow well, it's an idea to put some grass cuttings on the top here. There's 4 reasons for doing this. First one is it mulches the ground, so it stops the weeds growing. Second thing is it keeps the ground warm, because as the bacteria is breaking down the grass, what it'll actually do is it'll generate heat, which warms the ground, which then makes the beans grow well. Thirdly, as the grass rots down, what it's actually doing is putting nitrogen into the ground. And fourth, which is probably the least obvious, is as the bacteria eats away at the grass, it's actually giving off carbon dioxide, which is exactly what the plants breathe. So the concentrations of carbon dioxide around the plant will be increased. In normal air it's about 1%, but if you've got loads of bacteria here, that will most certainly increase. And as carbon dioxide is heavier than air, it'll keep it down towards the ground, which is where the plants are breathing it. Okay, so it's time to put the sweet peas in. Now I've got 2 or 3 trays full like this, and they're about a foot high, so if anything I'm a bit late putting them in. But what I've done is I've just put these frames up here. Now this is a bit of Harrison fencing. Put some steel stakes into the ground, and I've tied with some bamboo cane up to the top there. Now they're not quite finished yet. These holes in the top here were left in there, so I can put like a brace between there and there just to hold it there, and there'll be the same one here as well. I've just got these little pots on there so it doesn't catch the material in the meantime. But I'm okay to plant now, so what I'll do is just put the sweet peas in, and they'll be able to grow up here, and I should have 2 walls of sweet peas, so as I'm walking up the path it'll be nice and pretty and it'll smell nice. So I'm actually going to be planting these sweet peas reasonably deep. Now these shouldn't be too pot bound. As you can see, the square pots, you can see why I use them, because the roots don't go round and round and round. So as soon as I put that on the ground, they're all going to spread out. So what I've done is I've dug a bit of a hole here. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, and I'm just putting them in a bit below where they were in the pot. Now all I need to do really is just let them rest against the framework, and then they'll sort of get on to that. Now what I'm going to do is end up with a bit more soil than I started with. So I'm going to plant them very close together. So this is the second one, and I'm almost putting them not next to each other, but within, as you can see, the roots. They should have gone in a little bit before now, really. Now this ground was dug over, and so it's nice and loose. I'm sorry you can't see too well what I'm doing, but I'm planting them about an inch or so lower than they were in the pot. And what I find is, with sweet peas, they do like a bit of water, and if you plant them a bit deeper than they were in the pot, they tend to get a bit more water that way. So again, these are going to be pretty much the same as the others. So there you go. So all I'll do is I'll plant the rest of these out. I've got a couple of varieties. I'm going to put all one variety together then, because I like to see the difference as opposed to mixing them. Different people like different ways really, but I tend to like to put one type of plant together. So all you need to do is basically push them through, and on a sweet pea, if I can just show you, hang on, I'll just get that one around there. They will sort of find the way up. You just got to make sure that they don't sort of start straggling over the ground. If you look on a sweet pea, there's these like little you see those little sort of tendril things there? Those are what wraps round the whatever structure you put up there. And I find with sweet peas, canes and things like that, you don't tend to grab onto those particularly well. They do grab on, but they're not quite as good as they perhaps could be. What I find is if you use a bit of wire mesh like this, or even some plastic mesh, they will actually grab onto that a lot better than they perhaps would do with other sort of bamboo canes or whatever. So again, all I'm going to do is just push those in to the other side like that, and then they will find their way up. They'll start wrapping themselves around and sort of clinging on with these little tendril things. It won't take them long to do that, and then before you know where they are, these will be straight up and they'll cover this, so it'll almost be like a completed complete sort of screen of sweet peas. Okay, so that's it. So I'll basically give them a good watering. I'll put a couple of cans of water on there just to make sure that they're completely bedded in. And I've also put some slug pallets around because the slugs will go for sweet peas. You basically just need to get them started off as soon as they're away. You don't need to worry about them too much, but that's the sweet peas done for this year. Okay, quick update on the worms. So I've got some sort of shredded paper here that I managed to get from the office. And all I'm going to do is I've had this soaked in a bucket overnight, so it's it's really sort of sodden wet, and I'm just going to put this over the top because it's a good form of carbon for the worms. Now there are plenty of worms in there. I've just had a quick look around. There's lots of sort of baby worms. I've just noticed a bit of plastic in there, but this is really good. Now I have put paper in here quite a few times, so this is something that I do on a reasonably regular basis. At least sort of once a month I put some shredded paper in like this. Now as soon as I've got this in, what I'm going to be doing is putting some vegetable matter on there on the top, probably tomorrow. But the paper helps the worms to sort of give them the sort of the carbon rich bits and bobs that they need. So I've just noticed there's little bits of plastic in here as well, bit of sellotape. So obviously they don't want that. So yeah, so if I can just show you what that looks like now. That's what it basically looks like inside. Obviously the worms are just below the surface. So if you can see the little teeny worms down there. There's one there, look, his tail's just going in. But so yeah, so the paper will go in like that. What I will be doing as well is pouring a bit of earth on here in the next few weeks. So what I'll do is I'll probably put some vegetable matter in there, sort of shredded up, and then I'll put some dirt on top as well, because the dirt will help them, sort of get into it, and sort of obviously they need the dirt in there to to go through their sort of digestive tract, to to break up all the other bits and bobs. So I'll be putting a bit of that on. But that's basically a quick update on the worms. Okay, so as most people have got the stuff in the allotments now, I'll just take a quick tour around the field so you can see what the rest of the allotments look like. Obviously you're more than used to seeing this one here. This chap next to me, John, here, he's got various bits and bobs in. He's got his broad beans, fruit canes all at the back here. He's got loads of gourds in, and he's been digging this bit over today here. His early potatoes, onions, his Japanese onions are looking really good. He's just put some more stuff in there as well. He's got loads of flowers in the bottom. His runner beans are struggling a little bit at the minute because he watered them in the day, so they got a bit scorched. But apart from that, he's got some dahlias in these big pots here, which are always looking nice. And this is a tunnel frame here, which is like the ones you buy from the shops. It used to be looking like this one here. So what he's done this year is put some, use the same framework, but he's put some net over it for his brassicas. Okay, so from here on in we've got sort of half allotments, if you like. So this one here is kind of half, so it's just kind of this big, if you like. So basically half the size of mine. Julie and then I've got this. Anyway, they've got you know, a few onions and brassicas. Beans not quite as big as John's. A few potatoes at the back. This side we've got sort of fruit bushes up here. Some peas in there. A few bean plants. Some potatoes over there. This gentleman here, this is his first year. This chap here has just got a few bits and bobs and not much really. This chap here's got this half, he's also got a full one up the top there, but he's got his onions and bits and bobs here. So again we're into half allotments here, so this lady's been doing it for quite a few years now. She's got quite a bit of stuff in. She's got some nice tomatoes in there, and stuff at the back. She's not got a lot in here, I don't think, quite yet, but she's got what looks like sweet corn in there, and a few beans here. These ladies, they've got a lot of fruit and bits and bobs here, some mint and that. And they've done exactly the same as John. They've got one of these frames. The plastic on these things only lasts 12 months, most certainly up here anyway, so they put a bit of net over for the second year. And then here they've got some potatoes, some gourds of some kind, beans, and using Harrison fencing for the beans. Onions and potatoes over there. So now we're into, this plot here used to be really nice, but the gentleman's moved house now. I don't know if you remember, last year or the year before I showed you the greenhouse arrangement, but unfortunately he's left now, so that's gone. That was his chicken run. Nobody's actually using this one at the moment, and this is a real shame. This was the 3 greenhouses grafted together. But unfortunately he's taken the glass out of this for another greenhouse where he now lives. So that's what that looks like. Right, so these last 3 allotments here basically aren't being used, and because they're quite overgrown, basically the people don't really want to take them on. So unfortunately this one and the one next to it, which I'll just take you across, there are actually people who have got these, but I think they've kind of given up on them, to be honest with you. So this is what the back corner looks like. No, Vanessa and Roy used to have this one, and they made quite a good job of it, but unfortunately there's because of these trees we've got and these bushes at the back, during the winter it gets really boggy and quite water, full of water. And then at this time of the year, the trees just suck all the water out, so that it goes from one extreme to another. It's basically flooded for half the year, and then it's bone dry for the rest of the year. But as you can see, all the strawberries and everything, there's all sorts of stuff in there, but it's surrounded by weed. And this is where we normally get all of the wood chip and the grass cuttings and that dropped off here, which we're very lucky. You can see there's a nice big pile of grass cuttings here, which is always good for hotbeds and stuff like that. Right, so that's basically the end of the field. There are two allotments there either side of the lane, but this gentleman here is going to retire, or at least he's moving, so he's going to retire his plot. He's got quite a few bits and bobs going. This gentleman here has probably got the best dirt on in the field. He puts a lot of stuff in. He's got a lot of grass, wood chippings and stuff in there. He doesn't got a lot of stuff in there at the minute. But yeah, he's got really good soil. This is John and Ann's plot. They got these 2 plots, this one and this one. Massive lettuce. They got all the tomatoes out there. Got some tomatoes outside. He's got all his potatoes in. His are about the same as mine. Now he uses Harris fencing, as you can see, for his brassica cage. So similar arrangement to mine, but obviously I've got mine made into a tunnel. So that's John's stuff. He's always got loads of stuff going. As you can see, his beetroot, and he's always really good with his garden. Spends a lot of time up here. There are his peas, 2 loads of peas. He's got his chickens at the back there, and all the bits and bobs just walk across here. Loads of onions, and there'll be, he's put this greenhouse in here this year. So that's a new addition. I'm not sure what this is here. I'm not sure if that's sweet corn or what, but anyway, So that's his greenhouse, and he's got all sorts of bits and bobs. He's got a lot of asparagus growing at the back. Now we're into two halves again here, so there's two different halves here. So there's various bits and bobs in each one, predominantly potatoes and onions by the look of things. The potato rows are quite far apart, they're about 2 metres apart. But and then we've got another two halves. Plenty of stuff here. Obviously the leeks have gone in here at the back. Onions, a bit of asparagus there, some brassicas, and then potatoes at the top of broad beans. And here we've got some peas. We have got problems with rabbits at the moment, so that's why a lot of people have got these sort of fences around everything, trying to protect them against the rabbits. But and then some more leeks going in here, so obviously it's the time of year to put the leeks in. A bit of garlic here as well. So there's all sorts again on here. We've got runner beans there with a bit of protection around because of the rabbits. Some brassicas and potatoes at the top end. People typically put potatoes at the top end on this side. I think it's because that's where they get most light and that. But that's my plot there, as you can see, the green tunnel. So we're kind of halfway up the field now. And a lot of people use these sort of. They're actually gravel boxes off, like they use them on motorway constructions, and that protects them from pigeons and stuff. Moving on to Chris's plot. See his compost at the back there, and he's put some string over there to stop the birds nicking the bits and bobs. These fish. But Chris has unloads the last couple of weeks. He's got his onions in. He's got some sweet corn in there, some more onions, brassicas. He's got loads of gourds going there. But obviously he's heavily protecting stuff against rabbits as well. Yeah, he's got loads of stuff going. The strawberries he's just put in at the bottom there, but the far bit there that you can see, he's not got anything in there. That jostaberry bush there is the mother bush that basically everybody's got jostaberries off here. So my two are cuttings off this, or they're cuttings off a cutting off that, in fact. Carrots going in car tyres, which is quite common. So that's Chris's plot. This is Dougie's, and he's got various car tyres and bits and bobs going here. But Dougie's got a different style of to most people. He's got sort of patches of stuff all over the place. He's got like a cottagey feel to his allotment. He's got loads of bits and bobs in. He's got some. He's actually got some okra at the front, potatoes, onions. His beans are going in. He's got rhubarb up the side here. He's got quite a few. Sort of this kind of back half here is sort of fruit trees. I'll just walk across here. He's actually got a pond at the back there, which is quite nice, and loads of comfrey. He grows loads of comfrey for fertiliser. You can't really see the pond now, but this is all his comfrey here. There's actually a pond in there, believe it or not, that's got loads of frogs in it. So that's Dougie's. On to Dennis's. He's had this allotment in his family since his allotment started. It was his father's before him, and he grows a lot of brassicas, so he knows this field really well. I think between him and his father, he's been here for almost 80 years, 90 years in fact. He's got a lot of brassicas at the front there. He's protecting everything again against rabbits. The rabbits are coming through from this hedgerow here, so they can typically go in. So these people on this side are getting a lot more affected. I'm assuming that they're parsnips. Are they? Rooster. It's got rooster written on there. I'm not sure if they're parsnips or not. They're bloody big for parsnips at this time, yeah. Anyway, he's obviously got cabbage, peas, shallots. We get a lot of this problem. These are the swede or radish, and we get the beetle going through, and it looks like someone shot him with a 12-ball shotgun. So as you can see, that's why the net's all over here, to protect even his potatoes. I'm not quite sure why he's protecting his potatoes. I don't know if the rabbits have had a go at him, but but he makes this like tent arrangement for his brassicas to protect him against the pigeons and that. Right, so this is another one. As you can see, the asparagus is doing really well here. Loads of bushes up the back here, currant bushes and bits and bobs. So yeah, this one's a nice nice arrangement, very formal. On this side here we've got sort of sweet corn growing. This is kind of block growing as well, and we've got quite a lot of space between everything. Potatoes at the front, so they all sort of pretty much follow the same kind of routine. This gentleman here gets me onto a lot of new vegetables. He grows quite a lot of different stuff. He's got the Aztec broccoli here, look. He's got a couple of varieties of it, in fact. He's just put his gourds in here as well, so he does grow quite a bit of stuff, but sort of quite varied, the stuff that he grows. He's got some cracking beetroot in there, possibly the best beetroot here, in fact. Broad beans aren't quite as hot as John's. John seems to have the best one so far. He's got a lot of potatoes, a lot of different varieties of potatoes in there, and peas. And this couple at the end here love to grow all sorts of stuff, gourds, flowers, you name it, and they have lots of variety of things, but not that much of each thing. But they do grow everything really well. As you can see, they've got all sorts of stuff up right from the back there. Potatoes, strawberries and pots at the front here, leeks, cabbage, lettuce, potatoes, onions, you name it, it's in here. Loads of different flowers in here. They're obviously cut flowers there, they're chrysanthemums. That's some kale that I gave them, that's the same kale as I've got. I'll give them some when I've got some spare. Beans up at the end there, tomatoes. And this couple actually came second in Warwickshire's allotment competition last year, so they got they got third place in the Warwick allotment in the competition, so they've done really well. As you can see, some of the flowers they've got are really nice, but that's a really good one. This gentleman here actually came first in the Warwickshire allotment competition, and he's got loads and loads of different stuff. He's really good at growing all sorts of stuff. He's a bit of a master at growing potatoes. He always tends to be quite early with stuff. So yeah, he's doing really well. He's got loads of bushes and all sorts. He keeps bees as well up the back there, which we all benefit from, to be honest with you. And he's got the mother asparagus plants as well. He was the first to have asparagus, and we've all kind of taken seed off his and sort of grown it on. But yeah, he's always done well with his asparagus. So mine's basically the seed taken off this, which is what mine's all grown from. This lady here has got quite a lot of aquilegia, as you can see, beautiful flowers, like a purpley colour. She grows all sorts of stuff. She spends quite a bit of time up here. And then we get to these two plots. This gentleman hasn't got anything in as of yet. He's been quite busy. He's got quite a lot of fruit trees at the back, but he normally grows loads of potatoes, but for some reason he's not got them in yet this year. This allotment here was actually given up last year, which is next door but one to me, and unfortunately it was rotivated at the beginning of the year to get it all ready, and we haven't seen the chap since, so that one's all overgrown a bit. And this is next to me, this is Keith next to me. This is the frame we put in last year, so he's got all his brassicas in there now. He's put a bit of the same stuff as I've got on mine over, and he's got his strawberries in there, but some lettuce at the end, potatoes, various other bits and bobs up there, but very much like sort of same sort of arrangement as mine, really. He's another believer in wood chip, so he gets loads of delivered just like I do, and that gets left here to rot down over the beginning of the year, and then he digs that in to the garden. Sort of next year he leaves it for a year. And then we're back here where you're used to, so this is my one. This is where the various bits and bobs are going. I think you're probably used to seeing all of this. So yeah, Keith tends to put his a bit further apart than me. He's got his probably about 4 foot, about a metre or so between his potato rows. Doesn't grow quite as many as me, but he's put some beans in as well. He hasn't got anything in here yet. got his onions and stuff. But anyway, I just thought I'd give you a quick whistle-stop tour of the field, and that's basically all of the allotments that I'm surrounded by. Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. Please don't hesitate to put any comments or questions you've got below, and I'll always get back to you. And I'll see you on the next episode of Jim's Allotment Garden.